If I had $1 for every time somebody asked me about graduate school, graduate application, starting an MBA program in the US, oh my god, I would be so rich by now. It's been 3 years. 3 years since I have shown my face on this new. Hi and welcome. My name is Oyinka Oni, aka the Oyinka Oni. So if you are watching this video because someone sent it to you, or you are being a subscriber on this channel, even though I know that we're very small in number, then welcome. Before I go into that, I recently just graduated my MBA from Morgan State University. Every month I get so many requests of people asking me about how they go about their application, what they need to do they need an agent, how do they apply, what do they need. Questions are long, and I literally, of course, cannot answer everybody, so I decided to do a YouTube video on all these questions I get. Now today's video is really going to be about, I'm going to summarize the entire thing, all what you need to start your graduate application in the US. Now this disclaimer, this is just for the US, as this is what I know, and then it's also for graduate application. Some of it applies to undergrad, but not entirely, because I do not know so much about undergrad, so I will go into what I know about, right? So let's get into it. Now, to start your application, what do you need? That's the question in your mind, right? But before we go into that, you need to do two things before I continue talking, right? First of all, what program do you want to study? Now, whether you want to do a STEM course or a business, I did business, so business communication, whatever the course is, you need to identify what program you want and what major you want as well, right? Now, the second thing you also need to identify is your choice of schools and what determines the best school for you. So it could be price, it could be location, it could be course offerings, it could be professors if you're into research and all of that, it could be funding for research, it could be a lot of things, right? So you want to make sure that you have that in mind. What does the right school look like for you? You need to answer that. Nobody can answer that for you, right? And because the US is big, there are thousands of universities here in the US. Based on what determines your choice school, you will definitely find more, at least 3-4 schools that fit into that box. So you want to have at least 3-4 schools at least, in mind. Now, if you have that checked, come with me. Now let's talk about what you need for your application. Now, first thing that you need is your application form and application fee, right? This is basic. So every school definitely has a portal where you fill your application, your personal details, your work experience, your education, and things like that. Now, one thing you need to definitely be doing is, when you are filling your application, you want to make sure that you are putting your best foot forward. So your achievements, your professional membership, everything like that, make sure it's included, right? Especially if you want a scholarship. So make sure you are putting all that info right in your application. Another thing you want to take note of is that most schools have application fees. So you have to pay an application fee when you're submitting the application. Now, some schools actually give application fee waivers if you join their open house sessions or their informational sessions, or just give waivers on a rolling basis. So you want to take note of that so that you can benefit from that and get to submit your free application, right? Now, second thing, what's the second thing you need? Second thing you need is your WES or ECE transcript. So you want to make sure that you are converting your transcript from whatever country you are to US standard. Now, a lot of schools would ask for course by course evaluation, while some will ask for degree evaluation. But whatever it is, you want to make sure that you requested your transcript from your school to be sent to WES. Now, just make sure that WES has, this thing can take it can take months, or God no go shame us. It can take a long time, especially if you went to a Nigerian federal school like me. It takes a long time. I don't know, depending on the school. Some school takes like 1 week, 2 weeks, and you're done with everything you need. Some school months, especially with this strike. So you want to make sure that if you're applying for the spring 2023 session, or you're applying for fall 2023, make sure you start that process now, right? Okay, moving on. What's the third thing you need? So the third thing you need is your letter of recommendation. So based on what program you want, if you're into research, it's an MBA program or whatever, you will need a letter of recommendation. So your school will require you to have people recommend you. So it mustn't be family. If it's MBA, if you're doing a business course, you want to use like professional recommendations from your boss, your supervisors, things like that. You get it, right? And then if you're doing like your PhD research and all of that, you definitely want like an academic reference, right? Or recommender, as the case might be, right? But make sure that whoever is recommending you, you definitely know them. You know that they have your best interest at heart, and they know the kind of work that you do, because you might not be able to get to review their recommendation before it is submitted. So take note of that. Now, moving on. Fourth thing that you need is your GRE or GMAT. So if you're doing any other program, any graduate program that's not business, you will be writing the GRE. So if you're doing a business program, then you will write in the GMAT, right? Some schools actually waive GRE or GMAT because of COVID. So you want to make sure that you check that out and see if it still applies in 2023. That'll be good. But then some schools I heard also don't use GRE or GMAT. Now I said some schools, but if your school does, you want to make sure that you're preparing for the GRE, ets.org. I'll include all those things in the description box to register for your GRE and prepare for it. Or your GMAT, if you want to go to a business school, the higher your score, of course, the higher chances you have of getting a scholarship. Also, I need to chip this in. If you are probably registering for an MBA program or maybe a research program or whatnot, or with PhD or masters, I don't know what kind of program it is, but if you have an experience, like solid quality experience of like 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, 10 years, you definitely might want to try to see if your GRE or GMAT can be waived. So send an email to whoever is the program director, telling about your experience, what you have, what you bring to the table, and if your GRE or GMAT can be waived. You never can tell. It might be waived. So good luck. Moving on to the fifth thing that you need. You need your statement of purpose. It's like I saved the best for the last. But yeah, your statement of purpose is very important when it comes to graduate school application. I'm sure that you know that, right? But some people call it letter of interest. Some people call it essay, graduate essay. Some schools will give you a topic to write on, which is rare. But your letter of interest or your statement of purpose, statement of intent, whatever I want to call it, really should talk about your background, your unique background. Now, emphasis on the unique background. You want to tell your story in a different way, because trust me, these people who review this document, I've read all these ones that's on Google. They've read everything. They've seen it all, really. So you want to make sure that you're putting in your best foot forward, talking about your experience in a unique way, right? Talking about your experience in a very unique way. And then you're also talking about what that degree or what that program will do for you. Now take it a step further to go into the course or curriculum of that program. Find out how it relates to you or what you're passionate about. Write about it. Also write about how you can contribute to the program as well. Now these are tips and tricks to help you write a winning SOP, as the case might be. Now, some add-ons. So those are the major documents you need when you're filling your application. Get this sorted, get this in check, and use the tips and tricks I'm giving you inside this video to also, do one or two and see how that goes. Now, I also need to add that sometimes you also need your resume, right? So you want to make sure that your resume really communicates the value you bring to the table, like really communicates it, right? your resume really communicates the value you bring to the table, highlights your experience, your achievements, your professional organizations, and all of that. Please make sure you put your best foot forward. So with that, I will say that I've come to the end of this video. I wanted to make it really short, and I'm glad that, well, a little over 10 minutes, but it's okay, you know, we'll make do with that. Yeah, so this, if you really enjoyed this video, if it's been useful, informational for you, share to anyone who is planning to come for graduate school in the US. It will definitely be useful to them. I will definitely still do videos talking about all this in details, also talking about what to do next when you get your admission, in terms of like applying for your visa, filling your DS-160 and things like that, and also importantly talking about tips and tricks for you to get scholarships, graduate assistantship, teaching assistantship, research assistantships, etc. And I will also try to bring successful people who have come to do their program and have gotten scholarships and talk about the experience. So far, I had a scholarship for my MBA program, and so far I've like directly coached about 15 people, if not more, to do their programs, and some of them have gotten into their choice programs, I've gotten scholarships, and I'm super excited for them. And I really just want to see how I can do this in a larger impact. That's why I'm here recording this video. So share this video to anyone you know needs it, and I will see you in my next video. Now, this is July. Make sure that you're smashing your goals, all the goals for the year. You're going after them aggressively, and most importantly, make sure that you are on your own journey. It's the most important thing. Block your eyes to all the friends that look like they have gone to Canada, they've gone to UK, they are working there, now managers are where they're working in Nigeria, things like that. Focus on your own journey. I mean, 3 years ago, I didn't now be here. I'll have my degree and all of that, you know. So do what you can do. Make sure that you apply what you learned in this video, and stay tuned for the next video. Let's go. So this is me doing a victory dance because, oh my god, I've been procrastinating on this video. But yeah, we finally did it. Let's go. Expect more videos soon, guys. Bye.